Welcome, Star Family. I'm the Magical Medium, and welcome to this spiritual guidance channel. Today, we are welcoming in the last moon phase of the Piscean moon. It's the 8th phase, the last phase, and it is the waning crescent. Now, when you look at that imagery, it looks more like a waxing crescent because it looks like the face is going forward. But Spirit said, what if it's actually going out of the frame, right? What if it's going backward? It's on the way you look at it. Also, do you see what looks like an ancestor chief, like in here? I'm seeing so many things, you guys. Like, to me, it looks like a crown. It looked like a feather headdress. Like, I'm just feeling so much spirit and energy. And sometimes I like to wait a little while to bring you guys in. I like to do the practice of everything. But this one was so different. I just felt like I wanted you in here with me. I was like talking to them. I was praying. I was opening the container and setting the intention. And I felt like, you know what? I want you to go into this with me because, my dear friends, today is the very, very last moon phase of the astrological year. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, of course, but for me, I am in the waning crescent energy. So this will be the last reading that I will do in the astrological year of 2022 to 2023. It will then begin 2023 to 2024. So I thought it was so beautiful that the Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards wanted to come in. And the waning crescent moon, there's a face like, see when I move, it's like, do you see how it looks like a body in the high priest, by the way? It feels like a masculine energy. But then look at when I move, look at how it looks like it's becoming like other things. I know. When they had me set this up, I had no idea what was going on. But then when I started, I was like, what? So there's a lot of magic here. And we're going to be talking about a lot of beautiful things. The witches are going to impart their wisdom to us to wrap up this astrological year. Also, one of our tribe members gifted me this beautiful Tulsi Holy Basil oil. Oh my goddess, it's like being on another planet. So if you have, access to real Tulsi, if you have access to this plant, or if you were thinking about growing it, I would. Oh, look at when it's lighter. It's just so pretty. Yeah. So this is what I'm smelling right now, is basically what I'm saying. So if you got to go get it. If not, I'm feeling like we all need to, have a smell right now that makes us happy, joyful. Even if that means pausing this right now and going to get your favorite, beverage, or if that means putting this on while you bake because you love baking and you love the smell of baking bread or cookies or whatever it is, do that. I feel like this reading is a gift from Spirit to all of us for all of the hard work that we put in for 2022 to 2023 astrological year. And today in real time is the Sabbath. It's Saturday, March 18th, 2023. And when I added it together, it's the number 19. And if I add that together, it's the number 10. And 10 is about completion. And if you take away the 0, it's about new beginnings. So the next time, my friends, we meet together like this, it will be in the new moon in Aries, after we have passed the torch from winter to spring for our Southern Hemisphere family, from summer to fall, and aligning with the energies of the planet. And right now, and this is our rest and restore phase, the 8th moon phase. It's the end. There's nothing more you can do. Leave it be. Just rest and relax. You've got more chances in the new moon to set your intentions for whatever it is you want to do, or you feel you're being pulled to. There is so much magic happening around us right now, and there are a lot of things that have come to the surface for me in the last 24 hours, just things that are happening. But I want to get a little more confirmation from Spirit. I want to do a little more meditation on it before I bring it to you. It may be something I bring to you in the new year. I'm not really sure. But basically, I just saw a headline before this started that I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, there are certain things right now where I'm like, I just don't doubt anything anymore, because all fucking bets are off. All bets are off. And the light and love energies, it's like all the badass mofos of the light and love energies are on the planet right now, and they're like, nope. They're like, nope, I'm gonna wipe my hands of this bullshit, because that's what it is. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And we all see it, we all know it, all the fakery, all the fuckery. And the more I talk to people, like, I know now what spirit wants me to do, and it's very cool. I'm very excited about the next chapter of my life, the next phase of my medicine practice, and just so much I can't wait to share with you guys. There's just so much. Hold on one second. Oh my gosh, you guys, I know it's only been a second for you, but it's been many, many minutes for me. And when I was coming to sit back down to tell you what was going on, I heard from West Side Story, there's a place for us, somewhere a place for us. I don't know the whole words, um, but it's saying, like, here are these two star-crossed lovers that fall in love with each other, and they're from different worlds, and but they don't care about that. And if you've never seen West Side Story, that is your mission, to watch it. You can watch the new one, you can watch the original, whichever one you're drawn to. Watch them both and look at the differences. Very interesting. Time periods and things like that, and like what's politically correct at the time to say and what's not. Very interesting. But I feel like that's spirit talking to us, saying, like, there's a place for us. I was thinking the other day how I saw this clip from Selena Gomez. Spirit has been putting her in my orbit like you don't even know. So she's like some sweet angel, just this really special, beautiful soul. And I had this moment where she said something like, it was on International Women's Day, and she was, sending a message to her. What would she say to her younger self? And I've been thinking about that for a long time, ever since I saw that. Like, what would I say to my younger self? What would I message my younger self? And it finally came to me today when I was setting this up, because right now we are at the very end of everything that's happened over the last few years, and we're starting to really understand how we have to let things go, and how we have to face our inner childhood trauma, because there's no way to get past it. There's no way around it. We have to get through it to get to it, and you have to go there and find out what it was. What was that trigger? What got you? What was that one thing? Because when I had the moment of what would I say to my younger self, it just came out like easily. And I said, I would tell her, you're not crazy. Because I had many people throughout my life who were like, oh my gosh, she's crazy like grandma, family. And my grandma wasn't crazy. She was touched like me. She just didn't know. She didn't understand. She didn't understand her gifts. And before she died, one of the last things she said to me was, you are like me. There's nothing wrong with you. You're special. You're going to change the world. She's like, oh, I'm going to start crying. Damn it, Grandma. I knew it. They had me bring tissue in. I thought I was just going to be channeling for you guys, but that's what I would tell my younger self. That there are witches and magic is real. And I can talk to animals, and I'm not crazy. And I am special. And when my family would say to me, you're not special. Listen, we're telling you this for your own good. It's okay. It's okay to be like everybody else, And I was just like, it was just such a weird world I couldn't understand. And I still don't. But I love you. And you're so special. And you're not from here. And none of us are from here. Earth is a beautiful place. It's what you make it. Being human, it's a gift. Spirit showed me one time, I'm wiping my tears. Spirit showed me one time all these lights around Earth, but it wasn't like around it like an orbit. It was more like it looked like a line of lights, like a beam of light, but it was like there were many little lights in there, and I can't explain it any other way. Um, and Spirit said there's a really long line to get in here. It's like Earth is like almost like a ride for the soul, and it's like, you have to earn your way here, and everybody has a purpose, and it's just a very symbiotic, like amazing, cool, like it's such a cool experience if you take it as a cool experience and not as a life-sucking, soul-sucking, like, we're doomed, I just know it experience. If you live in fear, if you live in, it's like we need to see justice upheld. We need to see that, because too many years we've been seeing this, really fucked up, some prep boy, rapes a fucking, co-ed, and and gets away with it, or serves 20 hours community service. And you're like, what the fuck? Because he's a little rich white boy? Like, what the fuck is that shit? And then when they were like trying to say Black Lives Matter, they're like, oh, now I feel, well, isn't that being mean to me? Like, I can't help it that I'm white and that I'm, rich or whatever. It's like, there's just so much shit is happening. And yesterday, I met this really cool couple, and I was saying to them, one of the imagery that Spirit gave me as well was that, every single soul on this planet in their childhood, if you are looking at them in front of you and they, are alive at some point, and they're cognizant of who they are, their behaviors, you know what I mean? If there's something that feels off, or what some would call a dysfunction, an abnormality, autism, altruism, it's like, it's just all these different energies and emotions. If you looked at it from a higher realm, from a higher perspective, it's like we would all see the truth, because we were all hurt at some point. And I was telling them, I said, even if you're 5 and someone steals your fucking lolly out of your hand, that could traumatize you forever, especially if you have like a home where everybody gives you what you want, and nobody ever confronts you, your parents are really passive, but then you go to school and you go into the world and you realize that not everybody is like your inner circle. And it's like the playground of life. We have to learn how to get along. And you can't just steal and take what you want and not be held accountable. Karma is here. She is present. She's not going anywhere. She is getting stronger. And she loves when I say, and she's a bitch, and she loves it. She loves her job because she's good at it. Because she was born and bred to be a bitch. And not in a mean way, just that like it's her fucking job to say, okay, you did that. That's fine. That's fine. Well, when the time comes, I'll do the same to you, and we'll see how you feel about that. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to act like a child, karma will treat you like one. And it's okay to have our inner child be alive. We want them to color and be playful and enjoy life. Taste that yummy food, go for a swim in the salt water and the warm sea. To be alive in a human avatar is the most amazing experience. When we're not in these bodies, we are souls. And unless we possess another inhabitant or a habitat or whatever to inhabit, then it's like we're just souls. We don't feel like that. I don't know if we have memories. Like, I feel like you can have like a sensory memory. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're not in a body, I feel like you still have like a sensory memory of some kind. Your soul does. Only because, like, I'll be watching a period film, or I'll be, seeing like a war film or something, and like somebody will get stabbed. I'm like, oh, do you guys feel like that? My sensitives and empaths, like, it's on another level for me. And, you know, and I'm like, am I reenacting something that happened to me? Is it just that I'm not connected to, you know, life force, you know, that I can feel their pain? It's, I don't know. But I do know, I feel like Zoolander, I don't know. But I do know that life is awesome and we have to take it by the fucking balls and live it. And I got that from, I want to say the Nordic Tarot. She's new. Or she's not new. I'm new to their channel. But there in one of their readings, she said that she kept saying balls. She's like, I'm sorry, I keep saying balls. And if I can think of her name, I'll give her, you know, a little thank you with an at for their channel because their readings are amazing and I highly recommend you check them out. But yeah, it was just one. I'm smelling my smells over here. It was just one of those moments where I was just like, I totally know what they mean. Sometimes, you know, it's like when you're learning a language, if you've ever learned a language, or if someone from who speaks multiple languages is trying to explain something to you, and you're like, they're like, I don't know how to explain, blah, 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 you know, in your language, like it doesn't really translate, and it's hard for somebody who's never learned another language to understand that. They're like, what do you mean? Like, how can't? What do you mean you don't have another word for that? It's like, well, we don't, like, because languages are different, communication is different. And I called upon all the archangels today, but specifically Archangel Gabriel, because one, because of communication, but also because this is the last reading I'm going to do in the water energy, the Piscean energy. Like, this is it. And this, even right here, is like so dreamy. It's like, what do you see? I mean, maybe we should turn it this way. Maybe it is meant to like go this way so we can see. Oh, yeah, dude, look at that. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I mean, I've seen it that way before, but you know, never through this scope, right? Through this black and white, like this really cool. I love that they had me do this really magical setup and then in the black and white because that's where we're at, right? We're kind of in the end. We're like, we've lost our color, our luster, our light. It's the end of the moon phase. We're tired. It's the end of winter. For those of us in northern hemisphere, especially if you go through the four seasons, you feel beat to shit, man. You feel like hammered fucking shit. I know I do. And I was so sad because I had such a magical day yesterday, like from beginning to end. And if you want to know about my magical day, it was really magical. It was really funny too because a lot of shit happened. I met some really amazing light workers, angels, witches, healers, and deep down believers. And it was on St. Patrick's Day. And I had this really cool interaction with a fellow pagan, witch, healer, deep down believer in earth magic. And they really schooled me about St. Patrick's Day. And they're like, you know, driving the snakes out of Ireland was talking about us. They were talking about us. And I was like, what? And I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I was like, you know, everything was so Irish. And my name is Kelly, like my actual birth name is Kelly Ann. And then I changed my name to Tallulah Kelly many, many, many moons ago now. It's been almost a decade, I think. Um, and so I go by Lula or Tallulah. But when I go back home, quote unquote, like where I grew up, people who know me as Kelly kept calling me Kelly. And I was just like, it just felt like so weird to hear that. But I didn't hate it. It just was cringy in the way they would say it because it was like in the, oh, hey, Kel, or like this old thing where I was like, it doesn't really feel like me anymore. You know, like I'd rather somebody say, hey, Lou, like, you know, it's actually really cute. One of my childhood friends, when I had changed my name and everything, he actually was calling me Lou. He was the first one that started calling me Lou. And I was like, oh, dude, that's so rad. And it was kind of cute. I felt like, you know, I'm like, I like that. But, oh, and also Baba. Baba's so funny because I call Baba Baba Lou Kitty. Well, it's like, I always said if Baba had her own cartoon, it would be called Baba Lou Kitty Cat. Babaloo Kitty Cat. This week on Babaloo Kitty Cat. Like, I feel like it'd be like something like that. So, anyway, I digress. Just a lot has been going down. I don't know what's going on for you guys. Please feel free to share in the comments below. Our tribe is growing stronger. You know, we hit 500 subscribers. It's so fucking cool. I really feel like we've kind of tilted in access somehow. And like, I feel like now we're like, you know, I don't know if we're going down the roller coaster big hill just yet, but we're definitely like, you know, rising. Lift me up. Rihanna, man, she's been like in my orbit everywhere. It's been unbelievable. So I feel like Rihanna also is like some like goddess queen that's coming back from like Atlantis or something. Like, I can't explain it. There's just some cool fucking shit happening on the planet between the Puritans and the witches. But basically, my latest episode on my other channel, there's a link on this channel for it if you're not aware of it. It's called Lula's Life, and this is my magical readings channel. But Lula's Life is like me and what's going on in my world, and I have a few different segments. It's kind of a new channel. It's building itself. It's actually been around for a while, but I've just been, you know, curating it, and it's still kind of curating itself right now. But I did this Tallulah talk last night, and I spoke about a lot of the things that I've been saying here, but on a personal level as well. And my magical day, I spoke of my magical day because we finally got a couch for our new house, and I'm really excited, and things are coming together, and the bathroom's almost finished, and I don't know when we're gonna get in, you know, but it's exciting to see progress being made. And the blessing we received yesterday on St. Patrick's Day felt like my Irish ancestors, because Kelly Ann was my name, but I changed it to Kelly. And all of my life, I've been drawn to the name Kelly, like the Gaelic. And they were the warriors. They were literally the warriors of the UK. So the Kelly clan. So and also Alder's side of his family, that was one of the first founding white, quote unquote, white families on the peninsula where we live in the Pacific Northwest, were the Fitzgeralds. And so we felt like, you know, you're not driving any fucking snakes out of anywhere. Like, we are here to stay. We are the witches and the healers and the deep down believers. And I am so excited for Ostara. I'm so excited for the torch to be passed from Pisces to Aries. I'm ready to, you know, get going. But also, Spirit wanted to remind us that we need that little time to ourselves between now and, say, let me get the calendar out, because I was feeling this too. You know, it's like that gung ho. You're like, I just want to do it. It's like, oh yeah, everything. And then you're like, Spirit's like, whoa, calm down. Pin yourself back to the planet, get grounded, get centered, and fire will do that, especially now, because we're getting out of that like watery, like kind of like wishy-washy energy. I love Pisces, but there is kind of this wishy-washy. That's the only thing I can say. On the dark, we all have light, we all have dark, and you know, or I should say, we have all the signs in our chart, but the Piscean energy, the dark of it, can be very wishy-washy, right? Especially if they're not getting what they want. The Piscean energy. So we're going to be, you know, blasting off into Aries, and, you know, Aries is a completely different energy. So give yourself some time to kind of like, you know, gradually go into it. So Monday the 20th, I will be doing something special. It's an angelic portal. And I got from Braca to inspire others by being yourself. Okay. So wherever you are on Monday, Moon Day, March 20th, 2023, wherever you live. And if you're watching this later, look back on it. Let's see how, you know, I'm curious to see what magic Spirit brought into your life that you didn't even realize. And then you're like, oh yeah. But I will say this. There was a proverb that Braca shared with the tribe recently, and Spirit asked me to put it out into the universe. So I will speak about it again for the transition of spring, Ostara. But the proverb is, a man without courage is like a knife without an edge. So take the next week or two to kind of slowly like immerse yourself into the Aries energy. Come out of the water energy of Pisces. And Pisces are like the dreamers, you know, and all that, and that's great. But Aries are all about action, man. And they're about being the leader, the star. And so I feel like starting off this new year, Spirit wants to remind us that, you know, we're here. We didn't come here to play small. Like, we came here to, you know, fuck shit up and always good, but also to bring our light and our love and our understanding and our kindness, but not to get it twisted. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness, right? Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Okay, so today We are in the rest and restore energy, the 8th phase, like I said, the waning crescent. And so the witch's wisdom, what would you like to give us? What wisdom would you like to impart to the tribe today? What's our wisdom while we're going through whatever each of us are going through at this time? Yeah, they're saying even no matter when you watch this, I'm hearing just to take the next 2 weeks to really go at your own pace. If somebody invites you to something, be like, you know what, maybe, I'm not sure, where they're like, let's drive together. You're like, no, I really want to go on my own. I want to be able to come and go as I please. My energy is a little low right now. You know, it's not like we just zap overnight and it's like, okay, no more Pisces water season, all fire and Aries season, no more winter, you know, all spring, no more summer, just fall. You know, I mean, it's like, that's not realistic. We're not fucking light switches. Our avatars weren't created for that. They are biological robots that connect with the earth. You can heal yourself 100%. And also, you guys, we've been given this, like, you have a life expectancy of 100 years and blah, blah, blah. And that's like, you know, really a long time. It's bullshit. There's actually been humans who've lived for hundreds of years. If you take really good care of yourself and you live off the land, you can live as long as you are meant to. There's a lot of things that are going to come through in my lifetime. Like, I got this vibe from spirit. Like, even me at 51, they're like, you're still, like, you know, coming out of your inner child. You're out of the maiden, you're out of the mother, and you're at the beginning of the crone. They're like, but you still have time here, like lots of time here. And it was the way they showed it to me where I felt so young. And I was looking at myself the other day and I was like, yeah, you know what, for 51, you know, I feel pretty good about myself. And I remember looking at pictures of something recently where I was like, oh, I remember that, blah, blah, blah. And they said, like, oh, Judy Garland. I saw now, mind you, Judy Garland was a severe addict and all that. And she would say that too. Like, I feel like she's like, oh, well, come on, don't really use me as an example. But seriously, though, if you looked at it, you'd think she was in her 60s, but she was in her 40s when she died. So how we take care of ourselves that's going to be a big thing that's going to come up. Like, the next, like, 50 years are going to be about healing ourselves and the planet. And all the darkness will just naturally fall away because it won't have anything to feed off of anymore. Because even if we have a moment where we have a dark moment or whatever, that's normal, right? But if you feel it and you express it and you face it, then you don't fear it anymore. And then it's done. And it might rear its ugly head sometimes, right? Because we're human. We're not meant to be perfect, but we're also not meant to be robots or live in fear or be directed by other people how and when and where we should live our lives. That's fucking bullshit. So the comeuppance is here, my friends. Oh, look at this. Hold on. I'm going to take a sip of water. If you want, take a sip of water. Also, here's the card. It's called Invocation. Also, Spirit wanted me to bring up, it's ritual. Spirit wanted me to bring up that, are you purging a lot? Like, are you going to the bathroom a lot? Because if you are, it's because your body is ridding itself of toxins. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to go to the doctor or go to the hospital. I feel like some of you are like, I've been peeing a lot, or like, I've been releasing a lot. And Spirit's like, yeah, especially if you've been working in ritual, when you're working with Spirit, like, just in the time I started setting this up a few hours ago, I think I've gone to the bathroom like 4 times. Now, mind you, they're working through me and all that. But like yesterday, I ate semi-healthy and not super great healthy, but I stopped eating really early so that my body could, rest and recuperate. And I haven't eaten anything today. And I think it's somewhere around 3 or 4, or 2 or 3. I don't even know. I lost track of time, but it doesn't matter. Either way, it's not like I've been downing lots of water. You know what I mean? It's my body releasing. And I'm working as a medium for the tribe too. So I'm allowing the release to happen through me. So if you are really connected to your friends, your family, your loved ones, you may be releasing things that aren't even yours. And your body has to find a way to let it go because it wants to live in a healthy state. Like, that's what I'm getting from Spirit. It's like your body is like talking to you and it's begging you to stop, using it as a trash can for some of you. I know that's fucking harsh and that's hard to hear because I was like, wow, that's kind of harsh. They're like, it's not though. That's like your body's like, it's not cool, man. Like I can't keep doing this. Like it's hard on our bodies. So like my husband and I, there's this one food that we really love, and I got it yesterday. I was trying to get it, but I said, normally it's one of those things like we'll just like plow through, and it's not a, anyway, long story short, I had to stop us. I was like, dude, I have to work tomorrow, and I'm like, we can have some more later, but I really feel like, we should stop now. And he was like, yeah, you're right, and so we stopped. That doesn't mean we won't have some, on another day. But like now my body's like, that was hard. That was like hard on my body. And so now today they're like, can you eat lighter? Can you eat something different, or eat some sauerkraut, or I found this lady, cucumbers. I found this lady, I cannot remember the name of her channel. If I remember it, I will put it in the comments below. I'll pin it in the comments, or if spirit draws me to put it in there. But her recipes are simple and amazing, and they're like everyday shit. Just cleansing stuff. She hasn't been sick in 35 years. And I think that it might even be like the name of her channel or something crazy like that. She's like, I'm never sick. I'm never sick. I'm never sick. And she's just like this amazing being. And she loves food. Hold on. Okay, so you guys, ooh, when I looked down, it was 3054 and then 3055. And 3054, I feel is like our angel number, but then 3055 is the number 13. And this is a message to somebody. Your propane is leaking. You're not crazy. You're not, whatever. It is leaking and it's dangerous. I was going nuts getting ready for this. I felt like it was leaking. I had to close the windows. I was turning the propane off. And I just said to spirit, I'm like, come on. I'm like, there's something. I'm like, I can't stop smelling it. And they're like, because they're like, and I'm like, oh. So for some of you, I feel like spirit wants you to check on stuff, okay? And it could even be like a gas leak. I mean, it's for me, it's propane, you know what I mean? So if you've been smelling gas in the house, or you feel like there's, you're not crazy. And that doesn't mean for you guys to get freaked out. This isn't about fear. Nothing's going to blow up. It's just, it's unhealthy. It's not healthy for you. And if it's something that you're like, yeah, I've been meaning to get fixed, spirit's kind of like, you need to fucking get it fixed. Like it's non-negotiable. If that means if you have to borrow money from people, you have to like, I'm just hearing like it's non-negotiable. And also I'm hearing for some of you, like maybe that's why they were talking about the food stuff. Cause I almost feel like they're like, well, you'll go out to eat and you'll treat yourself, but like, this is like a potential hazard. And if it's not a gas leak, it's something like that in your life. Like maybe you're putting things before you where it's like, maybe it's just the gas leak is a metaphor for like where you're putting your mind and your body, but it's not in the ritual, and spirit's like, it needs to be, your mind, body, and soul have got to be grounded. Invocation. I'm going to get the book. When I paused, it was 3233. So if that means anything to you, then absolutely look it up. Oh, and then I saw 3237. Okay. So in the book, this awesome book that is by Barbara and Flavia. I'm not going to try and pronounce names. I'll just say thank you, Barbara and Flavia. Beautiful work, beautiful goddess witches. We love you, love you, love you. And Richard Crooks, who has been providing illustrations for the publishing industries as well as exhibiting this fine artwork for over 30 years. And Barbara was initiated into Scottish witchcraft, the quote-unquote craft of the wise, at the age of 16 by the then Highland seer, I don't know, can't pronounce, considered the UK's best loved and hardest working wise woman. She is a hereditary, eclectic, and solitary witch and a high priestess of Isis. Nice. So I want to say it's Swain MacDonald, Swein, was the Highland seer, and Flavia Kate Peters. So Barbara, I think it's Micklejohn Free. I don't know if that's right. And Flavia is a hereditary witch, having the craft passed down from her grandmother, who embraces the old ways and the path of fairy witchcraft. She is a high priestess of the Morrigan, and popular author, workshop leader, medium, and custodian of elemental magic. And I know it's in black and white, but I feel the need to show their awesomeness. Let me see if I can get this in focus. Okay. So thank you to these beautiful witches and their wisdom and the hereditary wisdom of our ancestors. We are in gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When I look down, it was 3407. So at the beginning of this, I'm going to go, they want me to go deeper. So let's go deeper. Woo, look at that. Like, look at this. Oh my gosh. I'm starting to see this. Look, it's like a crack in the foundation. Do you see it? Oh my gosh. I can't wait to read this to you. So they put little spells at the beginning. Okay. So follow me. You can feel free to close your eyes, whatever. I'm just going to read what they say. Ritual invocation. Draw down the moon, goddess descends. Draw down the sun, God his spirit to lend. And with all now share what must be told, protection and honor for all involved. This magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be. There it is done. And when I looked down, it went to 35, exactly 35 minutes, which is the number 8, infinity. And then also it's on page 74, which is 11 as well. And that's the number of the angels. And then 75, number 12. And 1212 has been coming around in the orbit a lot, but also 12 is the number 3. So, okay, so the witch's wisdom. Your desire to connect with the goddesses and gods has been acknowledged. But do you understand the true nature of the deities you are trying to summon? Heed the warning that invocation brings forth, for this action is not without danger for the inexperienced. Ritual teaches you to prepare for power and to judge wisely. It is vital to know about those you wish to invoke. Learn their dislikes and likes and surround yourself with their attributes and the things that they are associated with or represent. True invocation is to surrender, to be a vessel, in order for the deity you have summoned to function within you for a short period. Throat chakra. Yes. And speak your truth. Spirit is saying, don't act like they can't hear you or they don't know you or can't go in your head or things like that, especially if you're invoking something. It's like truth serum. They're going to hear everything. Like, it doesn't matter what you say or what you put out into the world. Like, say, maybe you run into somebody and you're like, oh yeah, I'm a hedge witch, or I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 blah. And yet you go home and you're like eating shitty food and you're like binge watching tattletale, shit. And, you know what I mean? Like, you're not actually practicing. You're not praying over your food. You're going to McDonald's, whatever, but to everybody else, you're like, oh, I'm a shaman. It's like, Spirit's like, you could act like that or whatever. But if you remember in the early part of this conversation, karma is very, very real. Very, very real indeed. Saturn is in Pisces for the next 3 years. There is nothing people are going to be able to do or say that won't come out. It will. Because this time is about karma. It's about new beginnings. It's about discipline and boundaries. Okay? So Spirit's saying they love you and they want to work with you. But you have to be true to them and yourself. Treat them with the love and the respect that they deserve. In fact, before we go any further, if your eyes aren't closed already, close your eyes. And if you're driving or you're somewhere where you can't close your eyes, then be in meditation zone. You can still, go on autopilot and connect with Spirit. It kind of goes something like this. And you could put it into any words or dialogue that you seek or speak. Most of my dialogue has been pieced together through my shamans, my healers, other people that I look up to, that I worked with, things of my own, things that Spirit brought to me. And as I say that, my hand went on my medicine bag against my heart. And Spirit really wants us to work with our solar plexus and our heart chakra. Okay? Those are the 2 chakras they want us to work with until the next moon cycle. So I invoke and call upon the witches and the healers and the deep down believers in magic. We call upon the ancestors, as above, so below. We call upon all the 4 corners and the elements and all the energies and the deities that align with them. We say thank you with gratitude and grace for healing us from the inside out and the outside in, for repairing our auric field of any damage that has occurred, for sealing up and making whole that auric field to be filled with light and love and peace so that we can bring it back into the universe. Thank you, Spirit, for healing us, for working with us. Spirit calls upon all of you now. They call upon your higher self to accept this healing from the universe. All you have to say is, I accept this healing, and it shall be granted to you. They will heal you from the inside out and the outside in, your mind, your body, your soul. But you have to let it go. You have to allow it to be, and you have to thank them with gratitude and creativity and having fun and letting them flow through you. You don't have to be a channel or a guru. You just have to do the ritual with love and not with spite. And don't fight back who you are. Accept that you're a bright and shining star, that you came here for a purpose. You have things to do, so stop cluttering your mind and your soul with other things that don't concern you. Be in this moment and be in this grace, be in this love, be in this place. Accept this healing, but walk the line with feeling, with ritual. If you don't believe it, neither will they. You must walk the walk the old way. And so it is. Thank you, Spirit. See, I just channeled that. 4023. That was amazing. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you for the healing. And thank you for reminding us constantly that life isn't always in black and white. We have to throw color into it, but sometimes we need this somber energy, right? We need to regroup. We need to heal. Even this, I found this today, and this was from one of my plants. And she wanted to share this with you. She has just now shed herself of this energy. She doesn't need it anymore. But look at how beautiful. It's still beautiful, right? But she doesn't need it anymore. She doesn't need it anymore. So I'm going to finish this. And it says, true invocation is to surrender, to be a vessel, in order for the deity you have summoned to function within you for a short period. This card has been drawn to assure you that the love and relationship you have with a particular goddess/god is real and runs through the very essence of who you are, through the mists of time and Avalon, as you aspire to be more than your own greatness and to be humble enough to serve, the connection becomes stronger. And that's where we're going to go back down again. Spirit says, yes, it's time for you to sit with Spirit and say, how may I serve? Every single day when you wake up in the morning, whether you wake up naturally or with an alarm, when it goes off, take in 3 deep breaths. This is a practice that my guru gave me, and it does help. It really does. Take in 3 deep breaths, and not like deep breaths like, oh God, I have to get through the day. Deep breaths of excitement. Let it go, and then with a smile in your heart, a real genuine smile, a peaceful smile in your heart, close your eyes and say, how may I serve today, Spirit? How may I serve? How may I be a vessel? And they will show you. Even if it's just, letting someone go before you at the gas station, at the line at the grocery store, because you have extra time today. Because you know what'll happen when you do that? When you have that day where someone took your time that you had no control over, they will align those rituals for you. The magic will come in and serve you. Look at the circles on either side. I didn't even recognize it till just a little bit ago. See the circle around the witch's feet? That's protection. That's salt. You can even do a protection like of salt around your house, around, like just any place that you just research salt rituals, okay? Because I feel like it's going to be different for everybody, so I don't want to tell you what to do. But use the most, clean salt you can find. And sea salt, there's a reason for it. Research it, okay? And, well, there's different salt rituals. That's right. Spirit said there's different salt rituals. So research it, okay? I'm just going to leave it there. But then also we've got like, where the moon is there, but the light is covered right now. And for some of you, it's okay if you're feeling a little down, you're feeling a little dark, like you're not going to move faster, you're like, what's happening? It's like Spirit's like, because you're not there yet. Give yourself time. You will work through it. I promise you that. I promise you, you will get to where you need to be. Also, they're having me turn around. Oh, for some of you, you work with the goddess Athena, and Athena would really like a little more respect. And also, if you work with a lot of owl medicine, Goddess Athena is calling to you because they are divinely connected. Okay, so and if you've been looking for a deity or to work with, a goddess to work with, please call on Athena. She is amazing. She is the goddess of war. And or is war or warrior like something? Sorry, Athena. I believe it's the goddess of war. But she's many things. She's many things. That's just like one of her names, you know, how they give them names. So that's that. Now listen, the next part is called the witch's foresight, and it says, join a coven for ritual work and safety. Your connection with the deity is linked to past lives. Honor the deities in all their forms through prayer, ritual, dance, chants, and offerings. Remember your protection. Dedicate an altar to your favorite deities. Okay, listen. So we have I have a few cards here, and I want to see if Spirit wants me to pull any right now. Okay, hold on. Do you want me to pull any cards? Okay, so I'm going to be doing some shorts. So look out for, if you haven't subscribed, you may want to do that now, because Spirit really speaks to us through the shorts on this channel. It's really fun. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. You could just scroll forever. There's so many messages, and the messages are always timeless, but they had me pull some past life cards. And if you haven't seen the pick-a reading for the third quarter / last quarter reading, the pick-a reading, oh my gosh, I highly suggest you go and watch that. That might give you some insight as well. But yeah, dedicate an altar to your favorite deity. I have, that's why this Athena statue has come into my life. I believe she's too tall to fit in here. I'm going to see if I can get her in here, but I'll show you. And this came into my life in a way of someone was throwing it out. It was an angel that had wings, right? And the wings broke. But I felt like they were meant to break. And I was like, no, I feel like she's meant to, I feel like she's meant to be here. So I feel like Athena's like, I can lay like right here. She's so cute. Because I'm like, I feel like we know what the cards are, But obviously you want to put your deity up. But it's like it'll go out of the shot. But you know what I'm saying? It's like however you want to do it. It's like she's saying, like, do whatever ritual, feels good for you. And it could be this big. It doesn't have to be this big. But this came into my orbit. And ever since it's come into my orbit, I have been feeling such a strong vibe with Athena. And Spirit told me that she was going to be a representation of Athena for me. So that was super fucking rad. And I still, like right now, I'm going to put it over here. And the wings, I feel like I'm going to use for something else, like some creative thing, which is so cool. So, you know what I mean? It's having an altar is everything. And if you are living in a place where you cannot have an altar, then you don't belong there. You cannot live in somewhere where you cannot be yourself. And Spirit is like, they cannot stress that to you enough. You need to be able to be somewhere. Otherwise, you're going to live in this darkness all the time. Because you're basically telling Spirit that you're ashamed of yourself and you're ashamed of who you are, and you're also saying that, even though you signed on to do this, you're not going to do it. And they're like, no, but you need to do it right now, and you need to trust that they got your back. So the last part of this is the ritual revealed. It's important to focus on the purpose of your ritual with intention and right action. Once this is done, clear the area, then cast the circle, call to the 4 quarters or watchtowers, then call upon the Lord and Lady. Build up the cone of power, then state your purpose. Once finished, thank the deities, then release the quarters and the circle with love. Okay? So that's if you're doing it like that. Like for myself, I walk with them all the time. So I'm constantly thanking them. I give them food every day. You know what I mean? Like I have an altar that changes all the time. That's always, going for, like when you watch these readings like this, I leave it like this until the next time. So it's, it's my way of, saying thank you to Spirit. I put the cards away sometimes I leave them up, but like the altar itself, I leave it because it's meant to be there. Do we have any last messages? I felt this one really strong. Ooh, Spirit invitation. Wow. Oh no. Ooh, an invitation to initiation. So they are inviting you. They are inviting you. Also, I saw this as like shackles. And if you look at it, it's like different like tools, but I saw it as shackles at first. So I feel like for some of you, you are treating your spiritual gifts or you're treating your relationship with spirit as if you are in some type of prison. And they're like, well, yeah, if you feel like you're in prison, then you are definitely not going to be able to practice and work with spirit. I mean, that's it. Like, that's what they were just saying. That's the bottom line. And there are people out there that can and will help you. You can even put, like, an ad up, go to your local coffee shop and say, can I put something on the bulletin board? And just, put like one of those things, you can even invent an email address so you have no link to anything so they don't know who you are, kind of thing. That's okay when you're starting out. I get it. It's a little intimidating. Some people have fear around it. But you know what? It's just old programming. It's because we were in times that we would be murdered for who we are. And actually, we still are. I mean, you see news headlines all the time about different races or, genders, like, same sex couples still being murdered. It's the same thing. That's why so many witches are still quiet, because they're terrified of what the backlash is going to be, right? And the Christians and like how they're going to treat them. And it's very fucking real, because it happened to you and it happened to your kin. So it's real. They're not saying they don't want you to work through that, but they just don't want you to live in it, because you need to heal it. So here is our blessing. Could it be right to go alone or join a coven? What is shown? Spirit calls you to be true. The choice is yours. It's up to you. This magic is worked with harm to none. So mote it be. There, it is done. Oh my gosh, you guys. And it's on page 82, which is also the number 10, completion. And what did we say? Today was a 19, was a 10 number. So this is really, really powerful. And let me tell you, even though I think of you guys as my coven, I also, like, I'm a singular witch. When I first started practicing, people wanted me to be in their covens, their groups, and I tried. Trust me, I really did. But you know what? Every fucking time I got home, I felt tired. Until finally one powerful shaman that I started working with said, if you feel tired after you leave the presence, they are draining your magic and they are draining your gifts. So she goes, not everybody has powers. Just because they want to play a witch on TV doesn't mean they fucking are one. Now, we all have magic, we all have gifts, but there are certain, that's why, with certain friends or family, like wherever two or more gather, like you can feel it, you can feel the energy change, or like you just feel giddy and happy when you're like on a high, and then you leave them, you're like bye, and you hug goodbye, and then you go home, and then within a few hours you're like, yeah dude, like it's gone, right? Because you're in a situation that's not, you know what I mean? So this is what they want us to change and not take with us into the new astrological year. This next astrological year, from 2023 to 2024, a year from the next few days, they want us to be completely out of that situation that is sucking us dry, that is filled with, energy vampires that make us feel upside down, right? Like I'm going to put them right side up. Who are draining our energy. Look, they took almost like the face out now, right? It's like they're stealing our thunder. We're faceless. Have you been scrying, by the way? I'm curious to see if you guys have been seeing things throughout. Please comment below. You're not alone. And let me tell you, you're not crazy. So, and I'm feeling like I want to go this way because you can see the trees out here in the back. Okay, so the element of the witch's wisdom. And we're going to go down a little bit. No, they want to see outside. Okay. The witch's wisdom. The element of spirit is supreme. It is the unmanifest universe. The unmanifest universe. Spirit contains the substance of all that exists. Take a moment to look at where and how your connection with spirit lies most strongly. You might feel a powerful connection through the gathering of people, and so joining and being a part of a coven could help strengthen your link. Perhaps you feel a oneness with spirit as you look up to the stars and feel the magic of the night sky. Or maybe it's being solitary and alone in nature and welcoming spirit through the presence of animals and the variety of plants and trees and flowers that surround you. No way is the wrong way, for it is your relationship with spirit and yours alone that is the most important of all. Initiation offers to assist you in making a commitment to walk your true path and honor spirit in whichever way you are naturally led. I love this so much. I feel like this is such a great ending to the year. Don't you? Like, I just love it so much. And yeah, I mean, I love being around people, but I am a solitary witch, man. I go into nature and like I work with the spirits. I work with like we met this couple yesterday when we went to get our couch, and like this robin bird like came and like was like hanging out with us and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's Jesus, and I was just like telling them because she asked me, she goes, we saw your email address, magicalmedium@gmail.com, and she said we were just curious. I'm like, am I a medium? And she's like, yeah, and so it was just like a really cool moment, and I was like, yeah, it's because you both have gifts, and they were both beautiful light workers. Like they had so much gorgeous energy, just so much light radiating out of them, both of them, her and her husband, Karen and Jim. Like I have to give them a shout out because they're just really beautiful souls. And it's the kind of people that you meet like that randomly that gives me faith and hope in humanity, and that we are not the sum of all of our deeds. None of us, even the darkness, right? Or the ones who are led by the dark with greed and fear and mine. It's like all that shit's coming, man. It's comeuppance, and you have to pay the piper. You have to pay the piper. I don't know if you guys remember, I was thinking about Martha Stewart earlier today. Do you remember, if you are older like I am 51, you will remember that Martha Stewart was like the bomb diggity bomb. Like everybody, like you couldn't touch her. She was really arrogant. She was full of herself. She worked in Wall Street and she made a lot of money, and then she parlayed that money into an empire, with everything, home, from baking and cooking to home design, everything. She just like took over by storm. Then she went to jail. Now, mind you, it's what they call the rich people's jail, but she still was in jail for or prison, or I don't know what they call it. It was a federal prison for tax evasion, I believe it was, something like that. You know what I mean? And she became a completely different person when she came out of there. One of her best friends now is Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg is a huge stoner. There's no fucking way she's not getting high. You know what I mean? Like I would be really surprised if she's never gotten high. But either way, it's like her life changed. Do you think she would have been friends with Snoop Dogg before that? Probably not. And I met somebody recently who's like this powerful angel who went to prison for 3 years and said, I literally, like, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And that is when I'm like, man, you are fucking special. You are somebody who gets it, who sees it, who understands it, and knows that, like, this is real. And, our families and our children for generations have been raised in a very creepy, enslaved, barbaric, fear-driven, masochistic, masculine, dominated, patriarchal, you name it. Like, it's been fucking rough. And now the tides have turned. We're going back to the divine feminine. Like, well, excuse me. We're just bringing the divine feminine back up into balance. We don't want to come in and be like, and take over, which is why Hillary didn't win and all that, because it wasn't about like the women like taking over and getting crazy, right? It was about, and nothing against, I am a woman. And I don't mean that in crazy like that. I'm saying like where they're like, let's payback. It's like, no, because payback isn't going to do anybody any good, right? It's not an eye for an eye. Like that's karma's fucking job. Let karma do that, because I promise you, they will get their fucking karma when it comes. And like I said, I'm not saying anything right now, but if the headline I saw is real, I was like, wow. I'm like, that fucking gave me so much hope and faith, because once people start really getting held accountable, people are going to start behaving differently and realizing that money and fame and all of these things aren't going to fucking get you to heaven, so to speak, right? It's like, this is a spiritual journey. So if you go through this life and you're just an asshole and you fucking steal from people and you hurt people and you whatever, that will fucking come around in another time that you play here on earth and you have a shitty fucking experience. And no matter how many times you try to kill yourself or whatever, you don't get to take the easy way out. Trust me. My husband and I both, we are beautiful souls, yes, but we have both been major fucking assholes in this lifetime. And both of us tried to kill ourselves many times. He even tried to fucking hang himself. A little, okay, for my sensitives. And when that didn't work, he tried to fucking like put the noose on the tree and around his neck, and he went to hit the fucking gas to kill himself, and the fucking branch broke. And it was a thick, he was like, it's like, no way. It's as if they were like, karate chop, like took it out. They're like, nope, you don't get out that easy. But that's his higher self too going, no, dude, you came here to go through that so that you can fucking show people how to get through it, how to heal themselves, how to face that fucking demon, how to face that darkness. I stopped cleansing homes because people would get irritated with me. They're like, it's back. I'm like, I know it's back because you brought it back. I can rid your fucking place of darkness, and I can, smudge it out for you. But number one, you can do it yourself. Okay. Many ways, through rattling and chanting and smudging and all that. But not just that. It's like, but if you yourself are still bringing in this darkness and playing with these fucking demons when it's convenient for you, it's just going to keep coming back. And you're not going to heal, and you're not going to change, and you're not going to evolve into who you are meant to be. So I feel like this is like, I mean, initiation, this is no fucking joke. This next year, you guys, Spirit is going to really help you, though. They're not saying this to be hard on you, to be mean, right? They're saying this to me too. But they're saying, like, all the blessings are going to be there too. This is going to be, especially for certain signs, this is going to be a really, really big, beautiful year. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be so fucking good. And at the end of it, we're going to be like, holy shit. I feel like the next 3 years for a lot of us, especially for those of us, the Saturn and Pisces, I just want to make sure I'm saying them. It's the mutable signs, but I just want to make sure I'm saying them all right. Yes, okay. So we have Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius. The next 3 years, if those fall heavy in your house, look up your birth chart and see where those fall heavy in your house, especially if they're in your moon, your sun, your ascending. That is a huge deal. So pay attention, okay? Pay attention when Spirit's trying to send you signs, all right? So the Witch's Foresight says, make a commitment. Don't worry about what others are doing. Be true to your natural self. Seek out a coven in your area. If you prefer to work alone, do so. You are ready, and you're being called to be initiated into the craft. And acknowledge Spirit in all that you perceive, right? And gratitude. Gratitude. Be thankful for everything, especially over food or water or anything where it's like precious, like the elements. Be grateful that you can have running water. Be grateful that you can have a fire for warmth, or, earth to create shelter, all of these things. To be really in gratitude for the little things, to unattach yourself from the material world, from the world that no longer serves you, to really step into your path. I mean, that imagery is so beautiful right now. I just love it. I feel like, I can't take a screenshot, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So the last part is, when I looked down, it was 1 hour, 1 minute and 5 seconds, but it's also the number 7, which has been coming up for us a lot. So you may be, how everything goes in cycles of 7. You should look at the last 7 years and see how it's going. For me, the last 7 years have been so hard. So I feel like, okay, I get it. And my husband and I, we're going to be together. We've been together over 7 years, but we'll be going into our 8th year in May, and he'll be turning 51 in May, and I just turned 51. But 5s are about change and transformation, but 6s are about moving forward, and 7s, we're moving forward, and then we're going to be together 8 years. And 8 is infinity, you've made it, things are cool. We've just been seeing a lot of cool things around our relationship and numerology. So look into your personal life, really dig in deep and see the synchronicities and the signs that Spirit's been trying to send you. So the last thing is Spirit revealed. Within all living beings lives a force called Spirit. It is the umbilical cord that connects us to the web of life. Known also as ether in some Wiccan traditions, the essence of Spirit lies in the center of the ritual space. The ritual tool for Spirit is the cord, our shroud that measures the head, heart, and height, which are magically linked with Spirit. And let me tell you something. That beautiful witch that schooled me yesterday, they live on, I don't know much about it. In fact, I need to ask them next time I go, but they live in a coven type of environment where they make food and wine and whatever. And he was or they were I'm so excited, for the Sabbath on Saturday. And I was yeah, I'm blessed O star. It was so nice to say that to him. And he's very or they, I don't know what they go by. So I'm just saying he might go by him. I'm not quite sure, but, it feels like an they energy. So I was having this conversation with them, and there are people all around us, and I love that they were just talking about it out in the open, because seriously, there was a time where we literally could not, we would be murdered, we would be killed. And so Spirit is do not, bring that shame with you, child. There is no shame. And this is our last card. Lord God, Lord God and the masculine energy. What was I just saying? Yes, because the divine masculine and the divine feminine, if they are not in alignment, then nothing is right, right? What's that old saying? Happy wife, happy life. Well, yeah, in one way, I see why guys would say that, whatever, but it's also kind of like not not cool, right? Because it's like, no, there should be a cool balance. And yes, we should all be happy, but it should be a balance of happiness, right? And one shouldn't be going over the other as if it's like some type of competition. We're not here as a competition. We all have divine masculine and divine feminine within us. Okay, so Lord God masculine, here is the blessing. Toughen up, be self reliant, brave and bold, become a giant. Honor your male energy. Used wisely, it will set you free. This magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be. There it is done. And it's also on page 6. What was I or 60? What was I just saying about 6? That's so crazy. And then 61 would also be the number 7. So the witch's wisdom. I want to make sure, do you want me to read this, Spirit? Yes, we're going to keep going. I'm like, this is so long. You're like, that's okay. This is our last reading of the year. This is like our pearls before we go into a whole new astrological experience. So the witch's wisdom is the power of the Lord/God is required for the situation you are inquiring about. Toughen up and use the masculine energy that pulses through your very being and through the blood in your veins. Whether you are male or female, you must acknowledge the natural presence of both energies that reside within you in order to make up the whole of who you are. Right now, you are urged to connect with your masculine side and to harness the driving force of independence. A rational and analytical attitude is required here in order to override any emotions that often rule you. Unleash your rebellious streak and be willing to use force if you have to. This is not a time to be passive or accepting. The Lord/God is waiting to be called upon so that he can provide you with the tools you need for the battle ahead of you. With the divine masculine on your side, you can be sure that you are on the winning team. This is an auspicious omen. It's a good sign. The witch's foresight says, your emotions have influenced you. Logic needs to be used at this time. Do not accept the first offer that's presented. Draw strength from your past experiences. This situation calls for you to be rational. Being highly driven and competitive serves you well right now. Be a rebel. Yes, and I'm hearing for some of you, don't accept the first offer because you're afraid something else won't come. If it doesn't sit right, if it doesn't feel right, then it's not the right place for you. You know what I mean? Like you have to, like it has to feel good in your blood and your bones. I was starting to feel like we weren't meant to have this house, and I said to him, I'm like, no, when he and I are in it and we're together and like we're dreaming and fantasizing, I love it and it feels right. But I was like, I know that like once the house is finished and all the building and all the people and other people's energy is out of there and we actually clean it up and paint it and put our things in it and make it a home, it will feel like ours. But for now, it doesn't feel like ours, but it's because it's not time. I mean, it might not even be for another month or so. I hope it's sooner, but you never know like what's going to happen before you. So I've just decided to really let go of it. I'm not angry about it anymore. Well, I was a little angry. If you watch my Tallulah talk, I was a little frustrated, but I'm also in gratitude for this and the experience. And, I feel very blessed to be going through. I've learned so much about myself and my family and the process of a rent to buy situation. I've just learned so much. And I've learned to stand up for myself because I'm working against a lot of really like tough, like machismo masculine energy where I have had female over the last like I don't know 6 or 7 years. I had a lot of females around me. My landlords were female, and now I have a very dominant male masculine landlord that is like, it's my way or the highway. And I tried to fight it and he tried to please me, but then we finally just came to an impasse. And so I just was like, I'm not giving up. I'm just like not going to fight it anymore. I'm like, you can do that, but I will change it. You told me I could change whatever I want, so I'm telling you this. I told you I didn't want that. You're doing it anyway, so I'm going to change it. It's like, that's it. And I'm not going to have a discussion about it. I'm not going to, because I'm like, I have to stand in my masculine energy. Before I was going at it through emotions. I was letting him, play on my emotions. He's like, what do you want? What's your perfect bathroom? Go through, tell me what you want. So I did. And it was like, it was all emotional. But then when it started to be like not cool and the business side of it was like feeling unbalanced, I had to take my emotion out of it and say, hey, listen, you know what? that's not what we agreed upon. And, you know, I'm not going to be bullied or be told, you know, this or that. We will, if we're not the right fit, that's okay. We love you. We'll just move on, you know? And I've had to say that and put my foot down 3 or 4 times where he was like, no, 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 no. Okay. You know, and I had to push back, but I did it with love and I did it with grace and I did it with gratitude. And the last time it happened, I'm like, I'm not getting emotionally involved anymore. And I started to see passive aggressive behavior throughout the house. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. He's working through inner child trauma. He told me he's angry. He told me he's sad. I get it. He lost his wife of, you know, his partner of 56 years. That's a fucking heavy blow. So I've allowed it to happen because I'm like, you know what? In the end, it's just fucking things. I can paint it. I can change it. I can fix it. So let people have their temper tantrums. And if you need to be alone for a while, be alone. But don't just take something because you're afraid. Something else will come. Okay? You don't want to jump, as Spirit was saying, from the frying pan to the fire. Have you ever heard that term? Especially during Aries season. Also, in April, we are going, we have another Mercury retrograde coming. And we've got eclipse season coming. So, you know, gird your loins. You know what I mean? Like, so think about what you're doing before you, you know, make your moves. In spring is when we plant the seeds and fall is when we reap the harvest, right? So wherever you are in the northern and southern hemispheres, keep that in mind when you're, you know, going through your process over the next, you know, however long it is for you. Okay. So the last part is the Lord/God revealed. When calling upon the Lord, you are beseeching the male essence of the all. He is fatherhood, who offers both protection and strength. The 3 aspects of the God is seen as nature's youth, father, and elder. You can choose to work with whichever aspect of the God you are drawn to bring into your life at any given time. Yes, right. So like, even if you are somebody who aligns with feminine energy, but when you were a child, you know, it's like you didn't embody the masculine energy to protect yourself or to protect someone else. And maybe it's something that's been like sitting with you forever. You need to release it and let it go. You know, I feel like Spirit wanted me to say something else. Hold on. There are a few cards here. Do you want me to take any from me? Okay. Oh, lose track of time. Number 27. Stop trying to control everything. If you take anything with you in this new year, Spirit wants you to stop being so focused on time. And if it doesn't work for you, you're in the wrong job, the wrong place. Maybe your kids want to be homeschooled. Maybe you can sign on with somebody and say, hey, I'll pick up the kids after school. I'm just not a morning person. Will you come and pick up the kids? Like, you know, working with whatever. You know, when's the time you feel the most yourself? In the morning, in the afternoon, late, you know, afternoon, early evening? Are you all-nighter? Are you a night owl? There are jobs that you can do that are all different times. That was another thing. I had to lay down the law with my landlord, and I had to say, listen, you know what, you please stop. He would stop by, or he would honk sometimes when he was coming by. And I get it. He's in a good mood, or he's like, hi, honey. Like, that's his, and I've told him time and time again. And I said, you know, you always seem to do that when I'm, you know, doing spirit work. And I said, what if I was working, you know, with a client and they were in some deep meditation? I'm like, it's not your job to come and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I had to explain to him, I go, I don't think you get it. I go, I work for spirit. It doesn't have a time frame. It doesn't have a weekend. It doesn't have a fucking punching clock. I work when I work. I sleep when I sleep. Oh, look at that. We just lost the flash. Now we're on natural light, right? Because I'm on natural time. I'm on natural light time. And with the time change, it changes everybody. So give yourself time to like really ease into your season, okay? Also, this fell on the floor. And this was, we used this deck. This is the Mind Body Makeover deck. We used this for that pick-a reading. So one of the decks, if you were drawn to it, go back and watch it. But it says, this is our ego versus our higher self. And that's what we're doing right now. You and I together, we're just we're just having a meeting of our higher selves through our spirit guides. And our ego tells us, my hormones aren't stable. My lower back is my weakness. Oh, so this must be a message for somebody. Interesting, because I was thinking about periods and all that today and how I haven't had a period in so long. And I'm so grateful that I'm out of that, you know. So anyway, so this is Healthy body number 2. And I'm hearing for some of you, it's time to get off birth control too. It's not good for you. You think it is. Like maybe you're like, oh, it's good for my skin. There's other things you can do. So it says, my relationships are true partnerships. I give as much as I get back. I am able to give birth to my creativity in a way in which I get a healthy level of recognition and compensation. And compensation isn't always about money, right? It's about reciprocating, right? Giving and receiving. And if you're in a relationship that's constantly taking from you, family, friends, work, lover, marriage, even animals, have you raised a needy pet that is like me, and it's like needy baby, greedy baby? What's going on there? Spirit's saying you got to work through that. You got to heal that. You got to work through it. People aren't allowed to just come in and take our fucking time, our energy without our permission. All right, you guys. So that is our last reading for 2022-2023, the astrological year. And it's so cool because I started my moon cycle readings last January. So I actually have now done a full astrological year of readings. It's such a blessing and a gift. And I feel just really grateful for all of you and for Spirit. And we're just going to keep growing and learning as a tribe, as people. Thank you for hanging in here. This was a long one, but beautiful. I don't know if it's broke into two. If it did, the drill. Just, it was meant to be, all that kind of thing. If it didn't, then that was meant to be too. And yeah, any more messages, Spirit? Any more channeled messages for the tribe or anyone in particular? Do we have any loved ones or anybody that would like to channel any messages? Ooh, I just heard to Laura. Let go of the past, honey. Ooh, Laura, let go of the past, honey. And I just got the chills, and it feels like it felt like a dad, but then I felt like a grandmother energy. So I don't know if that means anything to you. Maybe it's your father's mother, or you know what I'm saying, or it could be your mother's father. I don't know. It just felt like that. And time is on your side. Yes, it is. Because, sometimes Spirit will say to us, time isn't on your side, because Freddie Mercury has been reminding us lately, time waits for nobody. Yes, but also for those of you who are doing the work, you don't need to concern yourself with that because you're doing the work and like everything is going exactly the way it's meant to. All right. It's all going exactly as it's meant to. 116. Let me see something. Hold on.